Today on America's Court with Judge Ross.
My father suffers from dementia. On the second day when I showed up, she was asleep in the den and my father was running around the whole house unsupervised. He ended up falling. She's lying.
In my courtroom, it's about equity and fairness. You want him to pay $628?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, knock my socks off. Justice should be more than just some foreign concept. I actually want you to learn something. The law talks about something may in fact be true, but can they prove it? And that's what's tough.
Fair, firm, compassionate. This is America's Court with Judge Ross. Naomi Salamanca claims she was hired to take care of the defendant's father and says she was let go without receiving her full salary. Ms. Salamanca is suing Janet Wright in the amount of $3,150.
All rise. Remain standing and come to order. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Kevin Ross presiding.
Ladies and gentlemen, you may be seated.
All parties been sworn, Your Honor.
Third Deputy Thomas. Ms. Salamanca, you feel as though you're entitled to $3,150 because you were watching Ms. Wright's father. Yes?
Yes, sir.
All right. What was the situation with your father?
My father suffers from dementia and is a sundowner.
All right. And he's been dealing with that for some time?
Yes.
Okay. Ms. Salamanca, you are someone who provides care for people suffering through various illnesses, including dementia?
Yes, sir.
All right. How long have you been doing that?
4 years.
Okay. And normally, what's your protocol with dealing in these types of situations? Do you actually live at the house with the patient?
No, I just work full-time.
And what's full-time for you?
40 hours.
40 hours a week? I take it that would be like a Monday through Friday sort of thing?
Yes, sir.
And then on weekends, they make other arrangements?
Yes, sir.
All right. How did you find out about Ms. Salamanca, ma'am?
I found out about Ms. Salamanca through my dad's current caregivers, Danny and Chris, right now.
She wasn't the normal caregiver that provides what your dad needs.
No, she's not.
How many people were you employing to take care of your dad?
2.
There were 2.
Yeah, they're on vacation. Well, they went on a vacation for a month. They were splitting up the time so that they would have a break because he needs care 24/7.
When you say splitting up the time, are you saying that they would alternate days or they would alternate shifts within the course of a day?
It would be up to them really how they were feeling, but usually it would be a 24-hour period.
And how long have they been doing that?
5 years.
Your dad's been dealing with this for a while.
Yeah.
A lot of families are dealing with dementia. It's not easy. Yeah. Are you the only sibling? Do you have brothers and sisters, or is it just you?
I'm an only child.
You're an only child. And where's mom?
She passed away.
She passed away. This is tough.
Yeah.
Okay. They are the ones who suggested Ms. Salamanca.
Yes.
Okay. Did you interview or consider any other people?
I didn't. I really trusted their opinion. I hold my...
Well, they've been doing this for 5 years, so you feel like, almost, I would imagine they feel like family, right?
Yeah.
And they wouldn't just suggest anybody, right?
No.
Okay. And you met with Ms. Wright.
Yes, sir. So we had a conversation that I would take care of her father for 3 weeks, and she would be paying me $3,150 a week. And at the time, I needed the money.
It was just for 21 days?
Yes. At the time, I normally take care of an elderly lady. She had to go to get surgery for a hip replacement. So for 3 weeks, her family was taking care of her.
You meet with Ms. Wright.
Yes.
And Ms. Wright, you were comfortable with Ms. Salamanca?
I was comfortable, and I asked her if she would be comfortable by herself.
Right, because you knew that Chris and Danny alternated.
Yeah, and
that's a lot of responsibility for someone who needs total care, to only be the person there. You didn't have any qualms about that?
So since he has sundowners, he normally, for the first 3 weeks, it was smooth. He was just sleeping in the daytime.
What do you mean sundowners? What's sundowners?
It's when the melatonin shifts in your brain when you have dementia. As you grow older, it's a natural thing, and you basically get confused between day and night. So my father, and he's on medication that prevents him from sleeping too, so he doesn't really sleep, but the sundowners, he doesn't sleep at night at all.
How long did you work before it became an issue that brings us here today?
So, Your Honor, we had agreed to 3 weeks, and in these emails, it says that we were going to just do 3 weeks because I had to go back to my job.
Was there an agreement that she would work 3 weeks? for 7 days?
Yes.
All right. So you were paying her about $450 a day?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Now wait, did something change? Did you end up needing her longer?
I did. I did need
Beyond the
longer.
3 weeks?
Yes.
You agreed to 3 weeks.
Yes.
You got paid every week.
Yes.
All right. She agreed, Miss Salamanca, to stay a week longer. Correct?
Yes, correct.
All right.
I agreed to stay for the 3 days, the first 3 days of that week, and she said she would pay me for the full week, even if I just did 3 days, because she knew that I had to go back to my job.
Maybe I could do the first 3 days of that 4th week. And then hopefully they get home. And you said hopefully. You agreed to pay her for 3 days at the same rate that you would have paid for 7.
No, that was a typo. I told her I would.
It's an email.
Coming up on America's Court.
On the second day, when I showed up, she was asleep in the den, and my father was running around the whole house unsupervised.
Got it.
He ended up falling, too.
And later,
Just when I got to the job, I discovered that I have allergy to perfumes.
All right. What does that have
And
to do with Mr. Cage?
Because on the day of the presentation, he put the perfume on.
I did not put perfume on. That's not something that I really do.
closed captioning provided by. If you'll be in the Los Angeles area and want to bring your case to court, call 1-888-552-6878. This is America's Court with Judge Ross. America's Court is back with the case of Naomi Salamanca, who is suing Janet Wright for unpaid wages.
Can you do the first 3 days, please? My dad wouldn't be able to handle yet another caregiver. It would be so confusing to him.
She knew she
And
was
then you
supposed to
say,
pay me
I'll
for
get
a
you
week.
for the whole 4th week.
I meant, can I get you for the whole 4th week? Not as in I'll pay you for the whole 4th week, but I'll get you. I'm sorry, I'm nervous from being
That's okay.
here.
I'm just trying to understand what happened. Did she work the 3 days that she said she would?
No, because on the second day when I showed up, she was asleep in the den, and my father was running around the whole house unsupervised.
I don't
And
know
then
what she's
told
talking
her-
about. She's lying.
I told her
Well, wait
that.
a minute. Hold on a moment. Had you visited the dad before?
Yes.
Was there any problems that you had those first 3 weeks?
So the first 3 weeks that I visited her once a week, everything was okay.
All right. So that answer is no. There weren't any problems the first 3 weeks that you were aware of.
I asked her before, before she got hired, is she okay with being alone? Then on the first week, I noticed she was really tired still, and I said, do you need help again? I asked her, should I bring in someone else? And she said no.
She didn't ask
And
me
then
that.
We're not disputing the first 3 weeks. We're disputing when she said, I'll come help you out, even though technically I have satisfied the obligations required to me under the agreement. She was doing you a favor.
yes.
And then you come over, she sleep, and your dad was in a place mentally that left you feeling upset. Did you
Yes.
let her finish the other day?
No, I told her, I just told her to go home, and then I took off from my job, and I ended up taking care of him because
Got it.
he ended up falling too.
Did he hurt himself?
I submitted
Let me
I
see.
submitted this picture to the court.
Okay. Did he fall, Miss Salamanca?
bruised
Yes,
his
he
knee.
did, but only because he was the last week that I was watching.
Oh, he
him,
he scraped his legs pretty bad.
He
Yeah.
was not sleeping the last 3 days at all.
Okay.
So I had took him and drove him around the corner like usual. In the morning, I took him to a walk around the corner. He could barely get out of the car. So
Judge, I'm sorry. Her attitude towards me became really, really condescending and spiteful, and she turned into I asked her when he fell. I said, "What happened?" And she just said he fell, and I said, "Okay, well,
Unfortunately,
fell where? On the
people
porch,
with
on the
dementia,
steps?"
they fall. That's what the caregiver is trying to avoid, but it's not that she can prevent every single situation.
This has never happened before.
I
And I
understand
asked
that.
her if she.
Are you
I
finding that
installed
over
rails.
the years, his dementia is getting progressively worse?
Yes.
Yes. You're suing for $3,150 because you're saying that even though you only worked 2 days, you should be entitled to a whole week. And how much did you receive, if anything?
nothing.
Okay.
Because after he fell,
I paid you. I paid you for the.
Ma'am,
For the.
talk to me.
I'm sorry.
You paid her for the first 3 weeks. Nobody's disputing that.
I paid her for the first 3 weeks.
Did you pay her for even the 2 days that she worked prior to you saying don't come back?
Yes, I paid her for a day and a half because that's what.
You have proof of that?
I don't. I gave her cash.
All right. And
every other thing I wrote a check.
Had you given her, okay, and you gave her checks in the past so you can trace checks. You're saying you didn't receive any money.
No, sir.
All right. Based on the evidence and the testimony before this court, the gavel has to come down in favor of the plaintiff. Because if you made the decision to give her cash and cash can't be traced, that doesn't help me try to ascertain whether or not you gave her the money if she's saying she didn't. If you have checks that you've given her previously, then I can see you paid her. The question is she entitled to the full $3,150 based on her working 2 days? And the issue ultimately comes down to the emails. You may have made a typo in the email, but unless you have a subsequent email saying, actually that was a mistake, what I typed. I really meant to say this. I don't see you showing me anything that suggests you sent another email. So therefore, this then becomes the terms and conditions of the agreement.
But I never
Is she
said I
entitled
would
to
pay her.
$3,150 based on the fact that you weren't happy after the second day?
I never
No,
said I would pay her
but
for
she
a
is
week.
entitled to at least, let's see, we know she makes $450 a day, so we know she's at least entitled to $900. And given that you told her to leave afterwards, but for 3 days, $1,575 is going to be your judgment. That is the order. Case closed.
Judge Ross has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant has been ordered to pay $1,575.
I am sad that her dad fell, but I did take good care of him, and I am happy that I am getting paid for my time.
I'll give her the money, but I'm really glad Chris and Danny are back.
Coming up on America's Court with Judge Ross.
No one can wear perfume at the job?
Yes.
Or cologne?
Yes.
Because of your reaction to it?
Yes.
Are you suggesting that he put on some sort of cologne or he put on women's perfume?
Women perfume.
Closed captioning provided by. This is America's Court with Judge Ross. Juliet Myers claims her co-worker knew she was allergic to fragrances and says he put some on to sabotage her in order to win a promotion. Ms. Myers is suing Tony Cage in the amount of $1,250.
Ms. Myers, you feel as though you are entitled to this $1,250 because you and Mr. Cage had some sort of competition going on at work.
Yes, Your Honor. Let me explain from the beginning.
Let's do that.
I fell in love with jingles when I was little.
And that means that you had an interest at an early age in advertising.
Yes, Your Honor. I started to work in this company 3 years ago. I came up to manager position really quickly.
Okay. And you all had the exact same position?
Yes, we both work as sales managers.
Okay.
So we both write jingles.
At some point, one of you were being considered amongst others for a promotion, or was it just the two of you?
It was mostly the two of us.
Then what happened?
Me and Tony, we would write jingles for clients.
You worked independent from Mr. Cage?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, we were working on the same project. They wanted to see who was better.
And whoever was better with this particular project, that would be the person that would be selected for the job?
Correct.
And what do you recall happening, sir?
After I started the company, I've noticed that there was a lot of tension between, Ms. Myers and I.
Okay.
And
did you feel like he was a threat?
Yes, he's just very competitive
And you're not?
she saw me as a threat.
She had to take you out.
Your Honor, everything was okay, but just when I got to the job, I discovered that I have allergy to perfumes.
All right, what does that have to do with Mr. Cage?
Because on the day of the presentation, he put the perfume on.
I did not put perfume on. That's not something that I really do.
Coming up on America's Court.
He walks to my office and he wants to give me a hug right before the presentation, and I feel very weird.
Had he ever hugged you before?
He never did.
Closed captioning provided by. This is America's Court with Judge Ross. America's Court is back with the case of Juliet Myers, who is suing Tony Cage for medical expenses.
You're saying perfume Are you suggesting that he put on some sort of man's perfume, meaning cologne, or he put on women's perfume?
A women perfume, 100%.
Okay. It seemed like something that a woman would purchase and wear.
Yes.
Sir, I'd like
And
yes.
your issue with the allergies, I'll get back to you, sir. Was it with perfume and cologne?
It's bothering me all the time.
Oh, that would bother you as well?
Yes.
Irrespective of whether it was cologne or perfume, it bothered you
Yes.
because you could smell it?
Yes.
And the policy that the company implemented, what was the rule?
Everyone is okay to have deodorant.
Deodorant?
Yes, but not perfume and no other cologne.
Okay, so the company said no one can wear perfume at the job?
Yes.
Or cologne?
Yes,
Because of your reaction to it?
yes.
And
It
was
got
that
pretty
true?
stinky. Yeah. Yeah.
And you understood that?
Yes, I did, and that is
Was it
why,
a big deal at the company? Because that seems odd to me.
I mean, it's a pretty close company.
Everyone
we didn't
was
really,
okay with
Yeah,
that.
everyone was okay.
Oh,
with
it's not a huge, big, we're not talking lots of people.
No.
So that particular day, there was something on him that you could smell.
Right. He walks to my office and he wants to give me a hug right before the presentation, and I feel very weird, but I go for it.
Had he ever hugged you before?
He never did.
Did you smell something on him?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
What did you smell?
It was a perfume.
Was there perfume on your person?
No, sir. The only thing that I can think of is, there was perfume on my girlfriend, and I gave her a hug and a kiss goodbye before I went to work. But I didn't think that
In
that
the
was
morning?
something- No, when I went out to lunch. She works right next door.
You met with your girlfriend at lunch. She's wearing perfume. You hug her and kiss her, so now that perfume scent is on you. Why all of a sudden, the day of the promotion, would you hug your girlfriend, knowing that she's wearing perfume, knowing the company's policy, and then come back and hug her when then that's so out of character for you? So you have a reaction, and then what happens?
I started to cough and sneeze, and it was really bad, and my colleague eventually took me to urgent care.
You had to leave, couldn't finish the presentation?
Yes, I had to leave.
You had to go
Yes,
to urgent
because-
care, you said?
Yes, to the urgent care.
The
I thought it was just nerves.
$1,250 is for what?
It's for my medical bill, Your Honor.
Judge Ross's verdict when America's Court returns. Promotional consideration provided by. This is America's Court with Judge Ross.
If it were a situation where there was proof that he actually put on perfume and you had pictures or video, then that would be easier to come to the conclusion that you should be compensated. But the mere fact that he would hug someone, I don't know if that's enough to rise to the level of proof that you need. I'm not saying that he didn't have the intent, but you have to be able to prove it by a preponderance of evidence, and I don't have that. Your matter's dismissed. Who got the promotion?
I did, sir.
He did.
Interesting. Case closed.
Judge Ross has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's claim has been dismissed.
Justice was served, and she can deal with it. If she thinks she's better than me, she can show it in the workplace.
He did this intentionally, but I know that one day I'm going to become his boss.
Follow America's Court on Facebook and Twitter. This has been a production of Entertainment Studios.